Hey guys, Lance Martin, Coldwell Banker, Town and Country, and the Martin Group. Welcome to our September Market Snapshot. I can't believe another month is behind us. I've got a new graphic up here and a new save the date. Last month I mentioned that we're partnering up with Rivco, the Riverside County Economic Group, along with Beacon Economics and Chris Thornburg, and we are putting on another forecast, specifically a housing event on December 5th. Details to follow, but if you recognize the graphic there, that is the Riverside Convention Center. So we have a date and we have a place. We'll get all the details out to you over the next few weeks and such, and hopefully we will see you on December 5th for our housing symposium and forecast as well. Chris Thornburg will be keynoting and a whole bunch of good stuff specifically with housing. Same QR code that we've been using for a few years now. All the prior forecasts are there and all the snapshots are there as well. So again, save the date. So let's jump into our Inland Southern California update. So we're going to start off with medium price like we normally do. I have some again, I don't like to say good news, bad news, but I have some what I would consider positive news, if you will. So where are we with medium price? Orange County, $1,350,000. LA County, just under $1 million. Riverside, 6.25, and San Bernardino at 535. So what does that all mean? Well, here is where we are, and this is the part that makes me very happy. I added my little happy emoji down here at the bottom. The part I love about this, and I've kind of been waiting for this and preaching for this for a while, or hoping it would come, is all my little red arrows over here. What you're looking at there is increase in median price year over year, August 2024 to August 2023, and they're all single digits, and they're basically between 3.2 in San Bernardino, 3.3 in Riverside, 5.2 in LA, and 5.1 in Orange County. That feels so much better than what we've been looking at over the last several years. That's a sustainable number. That is what I will call a healthy number, and people who look at this stuff in my industry, that's a healthy number. Doesn't get a lot of investors necessarily happy. They like those 20% price appreciation points. But at any rate, really feel good about low single digits or mid single digit appreciation numbers in the 4 counties. That's what we've needed. I just circled last August, so if you wanted to do the math, last August in Orange County was 1.285 million. This August, 1.35. That's how you get your positive 5.1% on the appreciation side. So just to put a little perspective to it, I pulled this chart. This was a snapshot that I did in September of 2021, so 3 years ago. These are the old charts I used to use. I pulled this up today. I said, man, I really like those old charts. But anyway, nevertheless, this is a 2-year chart of price appreciation from August of 19 to August of 2021. This is only Riverside County. I just pulled up one county. All the other counties are very similar. I could have pulled up the other 3 counties. It wouldn't have changed a whole heck of a lot. But again, I've got a little tag in here. It might have felt good at the time, but everything has a price. And what we're looking at here during that 2-year window was a 35% appreciation in median property values in the county of Riverside. So if I had done a different month, it might have been 40%, because basically we averaged 20% price appreciation in 2020 and 20% price appreciation in 2021, those COVID years, and then big numbers even in 2023. So again, it kind of felt good if you owned property, maybe not so much if you were a buyer at that time, or maybe if you thought the market was going to crash over here, which a lot of people did. Coming into 2020, even pre-COVID and during COVID, there was a lot of chatter, oh, the market's going to crash, it's going to crash, it's going to crash. Well, if you didn't buy and you were betting on the crash, then frankly, I feel bad for you. We told you buy then, and by the way, the interest rates over here were 3%. But anyway, nevertheless, putting this in perspective, low single-digit price appreciation for the 4 counties. It kind of feels odd saying this. I like that a heck of a lot better than 40% price appreciation. Why? Because 40% is unsustainable, and it just is going to cause pain at some point. And guess what? That some point is what we've been going through for quite a while now. So this is the 15-year chart. So if you want to go in and play around with it, click on the Canva deck. You can click on that link right there and you can go to an active chart. You can scroll your mouse around and it'll tell you what the price points were going back for 15 years for the 4 counties. So that's there for you to browse at your leisure. Supply and demand, I've done 2 different sections with supply and demand this month. I used to do this and for some reason I stopped. I put it back into the presentation on a monthly. So this is new listings. So these are listings that just came out in the month of August, okay? So the numbers here aren't necessarily as important. You know, they're a little bit meaningless unless you have some stuff to kind of tie them to. But the percent changes are what I really want to focus on. So Orange County was basically flat, a little bit less. This is August of 24 compared to August of 23. So there was a few fewer listings in Orange County by 0.8%. However, LA County's up 4%, Riverside County's up almost 10% new listings in the month of August to August of last year, and San Bernardino is 2.2%. Again, I've got my little happy face emoji down here because I have been bitching and complaining for many years that we do not have enough inventory to sell, and I can finally, over the last month or so, say, even though inventory's kind of gone down month over month, but year over year is what I'm looking at. I'm comparing this August to last August, and guess what? We have more new listings, these are listings on the market in August than we had a year ago. I like that. That is good news. So finally we got a little bit more inventory to take a peek at. This is the 15-year chart on new listings, so click into it if you want. You guys can look at that at your leisure. Now, this next chart might concern a few of you. So this is all of the listings, not just the new stuff that came on in August. So these were the listings that were unsold in the prior month in July and June and just going back for however long they've been on the market. So what does this look like? Well, again, here's the numbers. You can click into that. We'll go to the next chart and see what this looks like. So I got my little tagline at the front. This might worry some people, but not me. So why would you be worried if you're looking at this chart? Well, because the all inventory, the other one was up by small percentages. Well, this one, Orange County's up by 22%, LA 19.1, Riverside 12, and San Bernardino 14. So if you're looking at that and saying, well, wait a minute, inventory's building, which basically means people aren't buying, that's a problem. And again, I hate to use the word crash, but it's all over the place. Everybody's there's this constant, never-ending crash crowd out there. And again, that's why I think some people will look at that and say, you see, there's the problem. We've got some interest rate improvements, which we're going to talk about in a minute. But when you have building inventory, you could make an argument that, geez, that could be trouble. We're building inventory in the month of August. What does that mean? That means bad news. I'm not worried about it, and I'll tell you why here in a minute. But anyway, nevertheless, again, you can't complain that we don't have enough houses to sell, and then when we start to add inventory to the pipeline, then say, oh my gosh, now we have too many houses to sell, I'm going to have a panic attack. So I'm not having a panic attack. I like the building inventory. Now, the pending sales, I don't like so much. And again, it can tie into potentially some concern. So these are the actual numbers of pendings. These are buyers and sellers coming together, opening up an escrow in the month of August. Those are the numbers for the 4 counties. But if you come over here and say, wait a minute, I'm worried again. This is going to worry some people. Not me. I don't like this chart though. I'm not worried about it, but I don't like it. Why do I not like it? Because all of these numbers are negative. From August to August of last year, almost 25% in Orange County, fewer sales. 32% fewer sales in LA. 15% fewer in Riverside and 8% fewer in San Bernardino. So again, if you're in the concerned mode, wait a minute, Lance, we have more houses and fewer people buying. That sounds like a recipe for disasters. Under certain circumstances, I would say, okay, but again, you cannot complain about more houses when you've been complaining about not enough houses. Now, I would like to see more sales because that's how I pay my bills and feed my family, but I'm not worried about it, and this is why I'm not worried about it. For the next several slides, I'll kind of give it to you. Oh, by the way, these are the record low in sales, just like the other 2 charts. Pull up the Canva, click on the link, and you can go back for 15 years, and you can take a look at the pending sales compared to what they were in the 4 counties. Now, why am I not worried? Because I used to use a days on market chart. I don't know why I took the days on market chart off of my snapshots. Anyway, I'm bringing it back. And this is why I'm not concerned, is because the days on market in these counties, this is the median number of days on market, 12 days in Orange, 15 days in LA, and 21 days in Riverside, San Bernardino. What does that mean? It means the average property is sitting on the market for 3 weeks or less. All right, so you price it right, it's going to sell. Now, again, you guys know I have a bunch of different audiences for this. I'm talking to real estate agents, I'm talking to mortgage, I'm talking to title, I'm talking to my landlords and my tenants and the buyers and the sellers. So depending upon where you fall in this category. But the bottom line is, having a days on market of 3 weeks or less is not a lot of time. I mean, that's just not a lot of time. Having said that, we've been coming off a period of time where you would get multiple offers in a matter of days, have 2, 3, 4, 5, 20, 30 offers to choose from. Those days are not here right now. And I hope they don't come back anytime soon, to be honest with you, because again, it's not healthy. So this is one of the reasons I'm not worried about increase in inventory, and even if little bit, not a little bit, lot fewer sales, anywhere from 8 to 30, what was that, 33% fewer sales in LA County from August to August. That's rough. But the days on market are low. I like that. Here's the chart. If you wanted to take a look at it, you can click in here. I'm not going to click into this, but this is where we are over here. That's that, call it 2 weeks of inventory, 3 weeks of inventory. You can go back to 2008, just so happens to coincide with, you know, the Great Recession and the property calamity that we were going through. And we were at 80, 90, 100 days on market. And even when we were kind of coming through this recovery, if you want to call it 2015 or 16 a stabilization window, we're looking at anywhere from 50 to 60 days average days on market, just 10 years ago. So our days on market are really, really low. Doesn't concern me at all. And then the month supply, same thing. Now, for those and again, I haven't done a month supply chart in a long time. I don't know why I took these out of my snapshot several months ago. Maybe a year ago, I don't know. But if you followed that and you looked at that, or if you're familiar with these numbers are much bigger than they were a year or two ago. So month supply basically means if no other houses came on the market, how many months would it take for the current demand to basically absorb every single house that's on the market? So no new listings come up at our current pace. 2.8 months, Orange County has no inventory. The month supply is 0. LA is 3.5, Riverside is 3.4, San Bernardino is 4.2. Now those are not big numbers. Having said that, if I went back and pulled a snapshot from a year or two ago, we had weeks of months. I mean, Riverside County, for example, probably had 3 weeks supply. So from that perspective, the supply of inventory is 3, 4 times, maybe 5 times larger than it was before. But again, that's okay. And another reason these numbers are so high is because that pending number was down. I still think we have a lot of buyers out there that are concerned about affordability and interest rates. So the month supply number makes me feel fine. The days on market number makes me feel fine. Everything about what we've been looking at, I actually really think is healthy for our marketplace. The number I just don't like is the pending sales, and that's just me being selfish. I need more sales. So this is the 15-year chart of month supply. If you want to take a look at that, there it is for your viewing pleasure. I did spotlight City of Riverside this month, frankly, because we're going to be at the Riverside Convention Center in a couple months doing that event we talked about on December 5th. So I haven't done the Riverside Spotlight in maybe a year or so, but you can click into these, you can go through all this sort of stuff. But I just went ahead and kind of did it for you. If you live in the City of Riverside, median price right now is $666, $089, and you've got 15 years worth of data here, and this is where we were before we started to crash. Looks like, boy, you really want a kind of an idea of where we were. 2009, 2010 median price in Riverside looked like it was about $175. Boy, I wish I would have bought everything I possibly could for $175 back then. At any rate, you're looking at 4 times more today. Now, this is an interesting one in Riverside, and this is not all that unusual, although this chart looks extremely dramatic. These are active listings. These are all the listings on the market. This little itty bitty number down here, 483 houses in the entire city of Riverside. Riverside's big. Riverside's not a small city. 483 homes. To put that in perspective, and again, don't get hung up on the fact that it's 2008 and the world was ending in 2008 as far as real estate was concerned. But we had 4,000 homes for sale in the city of Riverside in 2008. Now, yeah, that was a different time, and we were kind of in this massive foreclosure crisis, and the world was falling apart. But even when it wasn't, and we were kind of more in this, you know, if you want to call this a stable range in 2014, 15, and 16, we still had 1,000, 1,200 homes for sale. So 483 houses is not a lot of houses in a city the size of Riverside, which, by the way, going back, this is another reason that I'm not concerned about property values in Riverside, or quite honestly in any city in Southern California, because we still have such a low supply, and frankly we're not building enough houses and rents are up. I need to put a rent chart in here just to kind of do a little bit of comparison of what rents have done. So at any rate, I'm not concerned about that. This is where we're at with Riverside. This is the pending sales. You want to talk about a sad number though? The entire city of Riverside, 163 open escrows in the month of August. That's pathetic. I don't know the answer to this. I probably should, but I bet there's probably 1,000, certainly 800 real estate agents that say they work in the city of Riverside. Okay, so wrap your head around that. Let's just suppose even the number's only 500, and I know it's north of that. Wow, 163 sales in the entire city. That's tough. So at any rate, we'll see. So there's your Riverside snapshot. Now let's sprinkle on a little bit more good news. So if you've been sleeping and you haven't been paying attention in the last month or so, we are, and again, there's my favorite individual, Chairman Powell, Federal Reserve Chair. Cuts are coming, question mark. I don't know, but I put that on there and I typed the question mark and I said, well, should I replace the question mark with an exclamation point? Because bottom line, cuts are coming. I mean, they basically, Chairman Powell, in effect, came out a week or two ago and said, cuts are coming. Without getting into the tall grass, with all the economic data that's going on out there, everything indicates to cuts at the Fed funds rate. So what does that mean? In anticipation for all of this and some of the economic news and indicators and inflation and all these other CPIs and PPIs and all the other I's out there, this is my, again, for 6 months now, I've been telling you all, if you're in the market and you're interested in this, download Mortgage News Daily's app. It's free. I'm on this thing 3, 4, 5 times a day. This is from this morning. You can now get, again, it's going to depend upon your credit and your income and a variety of other things, but the average of all the indices are about 6.11% on a 30-year fixed mortgage. That's decent credit, got to have a job, all the rest of that sort of stuff. The bond market 10-year treasury is at 3.645, or at least it was this morning. Let's just put it this way. They're improving, they're lower, these rates are awesome, okay? And why do I say they're awesome? Because if you go back and take a look at some of the snapshots from 2-3 years ago, back when interest rates were rising and they were at 3 and 3.5 and 4 and 4.5, when we were approaching 5 and 5.5, I was going to pull up the video, but I didn't have time to do it for the snapshot. I think I'm talking to Chris Thornburg or somebody at one of our forecasts. I say the real estate market breaks, I mean literally breaks, at a 7% interest rate. Well, guess what? We're not at a 7% interest rate anymore, and we've been broken. We've been broken in a variety of ways because of the shock of going from a 3 to a 7 or almost an 8% interest rate over a period of a few years was just more than the market could bear, more than the consumer could bear, to be honest with you. So anyway, this interest rate at a low 6 excites me. If you are a buyer, you should certainly be excited as well. And frankly, I think we might actually see even a little bit better rates. For the last couple months, something's been wrong with Google. For those of you that, which by the way, the single worst place to go to check interest rates, I only throw this on there because I just know a lot of people will just go to Google and type in mortgage rates and this is what you'll get. Anyway, it's been broken for like 2 months, but anyway, they seem to have fixed it. So this was as of yesterday. Rates are a little bit higher, but again, don't go there if you're looking for rates. I brought this chart. We're going to close with this. This is from Optimal Blue, and I really think this kind of crystallizes where we've been with rates and what it's doing with the market. And interest rates are so important to our residential real estate market. I cannot overemphasize it, which is why I've been so obsessed with the Fed and Chairman Powell now for the last several years, because I'm like, wow, you talk about breaking a real estate market. Well, we appear to maybe be back on the mend. So basically what I did, this is us now. So that's in effect that same rate, Optimal Blue is a little different than Mortgage News Daily, but it's pretty much the same, 6.1%, 30-year conforming mortgage. Many of you would qualify for that today. We peaked out here right around 7.8, almost 8% in October of 2023. So we saw some improvement, then we saw some pain, and now we're back on the improvement side. I'm hoping that, by the way, I'm not calling for low 5 or I'm not calling for a 4% interest rate. I don't particularly want a 4% interest rate. I'm not even sure I particularly want an interest rate in the low 5s, but I wouldn't mind some stability. I think we can do something with an interest rate in the low 6s. I'm already seeing it in the marketplace. But then I just went back here. It was February 2023, the last time we saw interest rates that low. But you got to put that in perspective, because in February 2023, even though we came back here to the 7, it was just a couple years before that we were looking at interest rates at 3% or even sub 3%. So this chart doesn't really do it justice, but I like this trend. My feeling is we're going to see some improvement on rates. So if you're a buyer and you haven't been paying attention, all you had to do is just blink and close your eyes for a month or two, and you might be thinking, geez, last I checked, rates were above 7%. Well, they were, and now they're no longer. And again, what did I say earlier? Market breaks at 7. Well, here we are at 7. Here we are at 7, almost 8. And geez, just 2.5 months ago, we were at 7.5%. So I think a lot of consumers may not even realize that we've seen rates improve to the way we have, which is frankly one of the reasons I do these snapshots, is to hopefully get this information out to you. So I think that's my last slide. It is. So again, we've got our picture of the Riverside Convention Center behind us. Stay tuned for our December 5th event. We'll get all sorts of information. And again, thank you for watching our September snapshot, and we will see you next month.